Hello, this is Alison, Women's Empowerment Coach. So today our video topic is our menstrual cycle and how making small changes in your life can have a dramatic improvement on your health and in your cycle. So let's rewind and paint a picture back to the very first day we began our periods. So for me, it was a time of confusion. I felt very shameful about my body. I felt like I wanted to hide away. I didn't really know what was going on. Obviously, I knew that I'd become a woman, but I didn't know how I was supposed to act any different. And then you got that shame of going home and telling your mum. And then she'll give you some Tampax or some sanitary towels and some paracetamol, and that's it. You're just taught to forget about it. You're taught to forget, to plug it up and to carry on working, not to let it beat you. Instead of working with our body, we're working very much against our body. So we're always fighting and the body always wins. So I want to paint a different picture. Now I want to focus on indigenous cultures around the world. See, in these cultures, a woman's period could not be treated any different to how we than how we treat it in our society. So in these cultures, they have something called a moon tent or a red tent. Now what this is, it's a sacred space for women to enter when they're on their bleed. So only other women that are also bleeding are allowed to sit in this tent. So they sit together, they bleed together, they just relax, they rest, they meditate, and then they start to receive the most incredible wisdom and clarity from elders, from their ancestors. They receive wisdom about their health and about the health of the tribe. So should they stay where they are, or should they move? Should they try different medicinal plants, or should they try something that they've been doing before? So as you can see, two very different ways of assessing the period, and in those cultures things like ovarian cancer, polycystic ovaries, endometriosis are practically unheard of. But in our culture, pretty much everyone I know has some kind of hormonal imbalance which affects their periods. So how can we start to live more in alignment with who we really are and how these indigenous cultures live? Ideally, we're not in these cultures. We can't take time off work and go and sit in a tent for 2 days. It's just not practical. But we can take some of their lifestyle habits and some of their wisdom, and we can utilize that in our own health. So instead of going to work and just forgetting about it and just fighting, we can take time out. We can allow ourselves the first 2 days of our period to just relax, to just rest, and to be with ourselves. Become really internal. Try to avoid conversation with people if you can, or keep conversation to a minimum. See, what's happening when we begin to bleed, we're shedding all of our beliefs, we're shedding all the experiences that we've gone through the month before. We're shedding everything that's no longer serving us. We're shedding all the negativity. And if we don't really listen to our body and we just carry on fighting, then nothing's ever going to change, nothing's ever going to cleanse, because a period is a very cleansing time. So what I began to do a couple of years ago was give myself the first 2 days just to relax and to rest. So I'd sit, I'd read, I'd wrap myself up in some blankets, I'd eat some really delicious, easy to digest foods like bone broth with lots of seaweed. I'd eat lots of pâtés, raw fruits and veggies to kind of keep my energy up. I'd avoid artificial sugars, processed foods, because they just don't agree with my hormones at all. And the more and more I listened to my body, the more and more my health started to improve. So what I'm going to ask you now is, what kind of hormonal imbalances are you suffering from? Are you suffering from polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, painful periods, or are you totally missing your periods? I'd be really interested to hear in the comments below. The next thing I'm going to ask you is, where can you start to create more space during the beginning of your cycle for rest and relaxation? So another thing you can do as well is really learn to get back in contact, get back in touch with your womb. You can do this by taking your hands like this and placing it over your womb space and just begin to meditate. So the questions you can ask your womb is, how are you feeling today? And then taking another deep breath and asking your womb, what am I not listening to? And then you can ask a question like, how can I best get in contact with you? And spend about 5 minutes doing this. You may receive information straight away. It may be a few days later where you get a little bit of a aha moment or a moment of clarity. So that's a daily ritual that I go through. I often sit there, meditate, just place my hands over my womb and just communicate with myself, because, you know, that's a very kind of powerful and sacred area. You know, it's a portal of life. We give life with our womb. So, you know, it's a very special sacred space, and it's a part of us, but we often treat it as separate, which is where so many health problems are coming in. So take 5 minutes out of your day today, get your hands over your womb and just have a chat. See what she's saying, see how you can become more friendly with her. And if you've got any comments, any questions, leave them below. And if you like the videos that you're watching, please subscribe. Thank you.